Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again, about to make rap bitches rap again. Charity Croff is an artist, a musician, a lyricist, an intellectual, a content creator, an activist, and an entrepreneur. I'm sure I missed some. He has penned several tracks with us. Oh wait, because now we're both the same.
Luna.
We have created so much cool music together, and I needed to share him with y'all before we wrap up season 2, because this is like super, it's just important. And we already did Cruella, we did Chuck E. Cheese together, and we just did a new one. Should we tell them the title of it?
I think I'm looking at Nick as to whether or not we should tell them the title.
Okay, well, we're gonna wait.
I'm pointing to you.
Oh, okay.
But they say three times a charm.
I don't know if we're gonna go with it, but probably the working title is G-Spot.
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 Yes. So he also recently penned a hit for Flo Milli. I mean, you're getting placements all the time. One of my favorite collaborators, like from a songwriter angle, but also I just started as a fan of you. That's like really how.
Well, I didn't pen, for clarity, I didn't pen a track for Flo Milli. I helped to co-produce a song for Saucy Santana and Flo Milli.
Oh shit! Yes, because Saucy's on it too.
Right.
So fucking good, so good.
Yeah.
So hailing from Chicago, and then recently moved to LA because he loves me so much. This is Charity Croff, and we're gonna have a conversation.
Howdy, partner.
About whatever we want to talk about. We
about
could talk
your
forever.
love for the Boston Celtics.
So I was explaining to them that I be having to tell this to white people all the time.
Yes.
Is that like niggas do not be wearing hats or team hats because of the team. We're wearing it because of the color.
Fashion.
For fashion. I don't give a fuck about the Boston Celtics.
I start with the shoes, and then I see the green theme, and I go,
it's green.
And I'm like,
oh,
they're wearing the hat for the color, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't care about the Boston Celtics.
I don't
It's
give
like
a
you
fuck.
from Boston,
Flawless.
correct?
Well, kind of. I'm from Maine, but
True.
it's all the same sports
for
teams,
sure,
so pretty much,
yeah.
the same shit.
Side note, you said I'm from Chicago. I'm
Yes.
from Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana.
We gotta rep the game. What you talking about? Now
Wait.
it's 30 minutes from Chicago. So
True.
before I moved to LA, I was living in Chicago for like 6-7 years. So I mean, I claim Chicago. Anybody from Gary also claims Chicago, but there is a distinction.
Yes.
It's like saying that a person from like, I don't know,
Seward, Nebraska is from Omaha.
or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a LA reference.
Yeah, or like
It's
Kansas
just like,
City.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
Living in Santa Clarita, saying you're from LA or something.
right. You dig what I'm saying? Like, or
People do that? I don't know.
or it's
I'm
just
sure.
like maybe a telling a Glendale person that they from Pasadena. It's just like
Right.
you dig what I'm saying? Like they're right next to each other, but like nigga, you're Glendale. I'm probably Armenian. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I could go with that, but we're not going to.
We're not doing it. And
No.
we've all bounced around so much now because we were Boston for a long time.
Yep.
And it's like you say these things to like relate to people because you're like, oh, I'm from Seward, Nebraska. And they're like, ooh. And then you're like, oh, but Boston. And they're like, oh. And
Right.
you get more like connected with people, I
100%.
guess.
But Gary is the Jacksons, right?
Yeah.
Jackson's hometown. So that's
It does
probably-
have
of
its
them.
own. I mean, let's be clear. Most people from Gary, and it's also a thing for Gary people. It's like the New Jersey, New York thing.
Yeah, I
That's
was
the
gonna
best comparison of
say,
it.
that
It's
is
like
the
a New
best.
Jersey, New York thing. It's just like a lot of Gary people, like you said, for clarity, if you're in a public space and somebody asks you from where you're from, you might just say, oh, Chicago.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? But a pet peeve of any Gary person, and it was super a pet peeve of mine, is when like somebody that we as Gary people know is from Gary is in some public place saying, yeah, I'm from Chicago. I'm like, nigga, you from Gary. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Remember
it feels
your
like
past.
almost like a disrespect of where you truly are
Sure.
from,
Isn't
right?
that funny?
Because sometimes, again, I could get to a capitalist conversation, but we historically as human beings like to align with power. Chicago is a more powerful place to say you're from.
Absolutely.
Rather
Or-
than saying Gary, Indiana.
or a more recognizable,
Relatable.
thing.
I'm
yeah.
cool with it when it's for that purpose, but sometimes it be literally for the purpose
Like
of
trying
like
to not.
flexing, like I'm like trying to distance yourself from Gary,
Yeah.
Indiana.
So be proud of where you're from.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah,
this is House of Herby. This is a safe space, as you know, a safe space for bad bitchery, self-discovery. Every week we're just like talking about creative living. And as a creative person, as you begin to gain more momentum and you start to become more and more known in the world, it is nice to remember where you're from. And that's a reason why I put Herby in my artist name, was because I don't want to ever forget that I came from Nebraska.
Yeah. And I'm like saying I'm from, that's why half the time I do correct people and like, oh, you're from Boston. I'm like, well,
Maine.
I'm from Maine.
You do that.
But it's all the same because it's the same sports teams.
In the same way, there is no Gary sports teams. If you're from Gary, you cheer for the Chicago Bears or Chicago Bulls, 100%.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
No, exactly. And if you are, but it's like the same. It's definitely distinct. They're different cultures.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But even though they're only
now that is an interesting thing. I would say Gary and Chicago are basically the same culture, like in the sense of fact, we footwork battle. That's like the local dance. You know what I'm saying? Like I was footworking as a little kid.
You were?
You know what I'm saying? Juking. Our slang is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like whole time when niggas gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
Language.
We talk the same.
Music. Okay, so growing up, because now we're on your journey. Now we're like, how did Charity end up here? You start in Gary, Indiana, and you're doing all these things. When did you realize it was music? Because you probably played sports?
Yes.
See?
So, let me be clear. I was trash at sports. So let me be clear, because everybody from out here like, nigga, you playing sports. Quit lying. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not finna even cap. You know what I'm saying? I did play the sports.
Cute.
But was I a competitive threat
Which
at any of these sports? Absolutely not. Basketball primarily.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I did that for a hot second.
Yeah, I was in like this thing. It was called Midtown Biddy League. And my mother ran the concession stands.
Yes.
My daddy was was the assistant basketball coach, which I hated.
Wait, mine was too. It was awful. Oh my God, so much pressure.
Your father was a coach.
My dad was. We had a team called the Hot Tamales, and I was like short at the time for my age, so they always put me as point guard. I'm left-handed too, so I can't do anything. But I did get good at threes, so I had a moment where I was good at basketball.
Got good at threes?
And my dad was very proud. But then after that, not so much.
Yeah, our team was trash, and our name was trash. We were the Inner City Computers, worst name ever.
Computers?
The Inner City Computers was the
Holy
name of our
shit,
team.
that's
You
kinda
sound
hard,
like y'all
though.
niggas cannot play basketball, bro.
Hard. Yeah, it's not intimidating whatsoever.
Weak, bro. Weak.
What was the mascot?
It was a computer on our shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, so this is what, 1999, 2000? That seems like that's a cool thing or something. Yeah, trash.
God. See,
Computers
now,
are coming, man.
Yeah,
It's the future.
trash.
If you could find me one of those jerseys, please, I would wear that.
Interestingly enough.
The Inner City Computers jersey?
Yeah, and they weren't even jerseys. They were like, Gary, is not a wealthy city. So it was like, they were just T-shirts with like a number on them. They were like screen tees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That was a lot of main action too.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I was also not I did sports, but I did more like nothing with balls. It was all like a lot of running and swimming and shit like that. A little bit of like soccer and stuff like that. But yeah, mostly like just what do you call it? Like masochistic? Is that the right word? You just like you against just beating the shit out of yourself to try to go faster and like vomiting and passing out and shit.
I did do that with track. What, you were about to say something?
Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, in track. And so that was really I was also, not great.
Let us know in the comments if any of you played sports, because I would be curious to know. Mine was basketball and volleyball. Dad tried to make me play golf. That was very frustrating times. Went to golf camp, worst week of my life.
That sounds tight.
I love the golf carts.
That sounds tight.
They wouldn't let me drive the carts. That's all I wanted to do. Just wanted a tiny little vehicle and just a bomb around. But
golf is fucking hard.
Yes.
Except for like putt-putt, which I love. Don't get me wrong. But having to actually, I've only been like real golfing like twice. Fucking terrible. What I love about us, what y'all don't know about us, I don't know which camera, what y'all don't know about us is that this is how all conversations go, stream of conscious ADHD. You asked me about where I'm from. I ain't forgot. But
we're still, Dad was assistant basketball coach, Dad, life. And then I'm going to guess, this is just me guessing because you told me a little before, is you started doing music in church, which is what I did.
Actually, no. I'm one of the exceptions to that rule. That is typically the way it happens. Y'all both step back like, what? You know what I'm saying? But but no, actually when I was 11, my godmother for Christmas bought me a keyboard. And I remember like it was yesterday, just at random, That's
a random gift.
A random gift, man.
What was it, a Casio?
A Casio keyboard, about like
I had the same thing.
What would this probably
Did
be?
it have
like
little demo songs on it?
Oh, absolutely. Pharrell and all the little joints. And then you just kind of learn how to. So my father, as sweet as he is, he wrote down C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C,
on the white
C,
keys.
On the white keys to help me do it. Again, he didn't really understand much, but he understood the basics of music. Yeah. And so he taught me how to play a C chord, and I'm like, And I'm like, this shit
Whoa,
raw,
this is
nigga. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? And so this is way better than basketball.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah.
Instant results. I just press it and I get
Instant
fucking noise.
results.
Oh.
Don't nobody push me. It hit me.
Yeah. No sweating. Well,
I was a
not
very non-confrontational child. I used to get bullied. Like I was just super like,
you
hey
really?
guys, let's be peaceful. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
was that.
it's hard
Which
to be a
does
high
not
vibrational
translate-
child in a not. You know, we always talk about on this podcast how like most of the population is like below the level of integrity according to some of these books that we read about vibration. And so that's so hard for a kid who is like super integrity and intuitive and creative.
And we're also, it's like, I feel like middle school too was like the worst time for me because that's
you were
when
11. That's like what, 5th grade, 6th grade?
Yeah, like
probably.
5th grade or something
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
it's a
Because
hard
like middle
time.
school is when everybody starts to like really develop into like the animal self.
Yes.
And like all bets are off. Everybody just starts because they don't know who they are. Nobody knows who they are, and it's just like their body starts changing,
I am
and it's just
afraid
like
of middle schoolers.
Woo.
To this day.
To this
Middle
day.
school,
Day.
middle school is fucking gnarly.
I be speaking and shit to like adults in seminars or whatever the fuck.
No problem.
They asked me to speak at a middle school. Nigga, get your ugly ass. Like, that's the kids. As you get out, it's like you're
God.
getting roasted. The second you walk out, you're getting roasted. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And
you
it's
are.
just
And you have to just take it.
And you have to take it because kids are not going to take you seriously. Not gonna, specifically ages 12 to 15.
And there's
It's just
no
like they're
interest in
menaces.
self-betterment.
They don't
There's
care
no-
about what
yeah.
I'm talking about.
They're not listening to this podcast,
You know what I'm
so
saying?
yeah,
Like,
we
you
can tell
better
them
have
to
a nice
fuck off.
outfit on,
Like,
'cause
No,
if you
they're not
don't,
listening.
you're through. Yeah, like they're the hardest. But my heart goes out to like teachers of middle schools, especially.
Yes.
Oftentimes
Parents of middle schoolers.
Yeah,
Woo.
all of that. Yeah, no, that's a complicated thing.
Yeah, it was so complicated. I had a fantasy for a while that I was going to make like $40 billion and just donate it all to try to like triple teachers' salaries.
Yeah.
In like for like 10 years or something.
Really?
Try to like, yeah, just because
Yeah.
it's like, it's fucking, it should be the highest paid gig.
100%.
There, it's just a lose-lose fucking situation, and we're like babysit our kids while also teaching them and mold them
Everything
and,
they need to know.
and do it all right without your
Literally.
human problems getting in the way. And it's like,
Literally.
fuck, man, middle school is
and they're like
impossible.
$25,000 a year.
Yeah,
Trash.
exactly.
Interestingly
Insane.
enough, my highest goal or aspiration. I'm trying to think. Should I even say this publicly? But yeah,
We
I'll
can
say
we
it.
can take it out if you don't want.
I eventually want to start a school, and then not just start a school, but I eventually want to completely restructure the educational system.
Yeah.
We can put it on there because our current educational system is archaic, right? The
Yeah.
current educational system was created in the Industrial Revolution by
Strikingly
Horace
so.
Mann, right? The whole concept was to equip people, which made sense at the time, to get a job or a career. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we were in the labor force. Those factories were the thing. So again, bail every hour, right? Let me teach you how to be automaton. Don't do too many things. Only raise a question. Go to the bathroom with a pass, with a permission. It was teaching you how to be a good laborer.
Yes.
And again, right now in our super consciousness era, we kind of look down upon that. But at the time, that was sensible because we're moving from the agricultural revolution to the industrial revolution. Had to equip people to be
In the factories.
efficient in those factories. Currently, we're a nigga who working in a factory. It's just like, and I don't need to memorize anything because I have the holy tablet of everything in
Oh
my hand.
God,
too good. I know.
It's like the entire concept of everything we're learning in school is literally useless. We need to learn how to be a human.
Yeah.
We need to learn how to feed our bodies, nutrition. We
Finally.
need to learn empathy, conflict resolution. We need to learn actual things that help you be a good human because your ability to utilize a factory is an irrelevant concept.
Yeah.
Your ability to do what you're man, like AI ain't finna be no regular jobs. You better be a creative.
Basically, there's so much
You better
fear.
be a creative.
So much fear around
and
it. And
even
that's
in creativity, you already know what the goddamn. I'm sorry, I'm just talking.
No, that's so. This is such a strong point. Like this
Yeah.
is be amazing cut down that we should share on Instagram. But it's like, I tell people every week on this podcast, we need your art, and this has sort of become like a battle cry for us at House of Herby because everybody resonates so hard with that. Because, like you said, for centuries we've been trained to be like these workers, and we're finally at this point of privilege, I feel like, to be alive at a time when AI is available to replace some of those jobs where those people could become artists.
Absolutely.
Fuck.
Absolutely.
I know it's scary. I have so much respect for artists and their work and like the brilliance of it. And I don't think AI will ever replace human ingenuity. I just don't. But I understand the fear.
No, and I understand both sides too, because I also love a hard day's work. You know what I mean? Whether it's like manual, like labor or something, or the,
You're like a generator, according to what is that? Human design.
Oh yeah,
you're a generator, so he has to run his engine out every day.
I'm a generator too.
You're a generator.
Are you really?
Like you need to be tired.
For sure.
Like I'm a manifest generator, so I'm like more here.
Yeah.
And so I wear myself out here.
What's your tell us your astrology again?
Damn, you asking for the goddamn astrology? Like,
just your sun sign.
Are we on a second date?
Relax.
It's like the 14th
You got the
date.
Celtics hat on.
But no, I am an Aries sun, Capricorn moon, Leo rising.
Yes.
And so
hardworking,
I'm as competitive
leader,
as a human can
fire.
be. You know what I'm saying? I want to destroy all of you.
And and a star, a center of attention when you want to be
with empathy and love.
Yeah, it's a huge
my
heart.
Mars is in Cancer. And back to getting bullied as a child, right? Mars rules your aggression, your physicality. Like, I just want to be cuddled, nigga. Like,
you're like, let's go.
And so
let's go in the ocean and cuddle.
You hear me?
And have family.
So interestingly enough, with all of my very masculine, very leadership signs, thank God I have the balance of that Cancer Mars, because I'd probably be a fucking
asshole,
psycho nigga. If I had like a Aries Mars or something, I would be wild. You know what I'm saying? But that tempers me and makes me, at least in real time, much more heart-centered.
See how self-aware? This is why astrology is so fun, because it's just another tool for you to like figure out who you are.
Try to figure out who you are. Yeah, absolutely. I think also another really interesting thing is you are one of the only people who I've ever met who organically, without me saying anything, read a lot of the David Hawkins books.
Yo,
we had a bunch of conversations about
this. That doesn't happen.
Like I was saying. No, I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah.
My dad, I thought that these were just these obscure books that I grew up with my dad reading.
Your daddy had them? That's so tight.
That's how,
I
remember when I was young, like 11 or 12, picking them up and going through and being like, I have no fucking idea what the fuck this is trying to say. It was way over my head.
But you knew it was important, so you picked it up.
Yeah, well, he read them. So I was like, all right, fine, let me try to be an intellectual or something. And I was like...
So
can we watch Jurassic Park? It was just I wasn't there yet. And I try to tell people too, with a lot of this stuff, take your time. When you come to it on your own terms, it's like fun and exciting. You know what I mean? And it kind of like ties together a lot of things in your brain then, because it's kind of like a logic reason response to vibrational frequencies and how people react to different emotions. So, but anyway, it was like Power versus Force and all these books that you've read. And I was like, oh, David fucking Hawkins. This is hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was like our first writing session. And we were like, is this our new friend? So you're 11 years old. You get a Casio keyboard for Christmas,
where we were,
and
you're
like, just stick with me, babe. I've got all the right astrology signs for organization.
I have none of those. I didn't go.
This is why I was excited to have you, because you are like, I feel like we're creating art when we have conversations, and I was like, we need to put this on tape. So you get your keyboard, and you got the letters, the keys are written down by Dad, and you're learning these, and you like this so much better than sports because it's like intuitive, and you're finding out that you're good at music.
Yes.
Now, what happens next? You go through your all middle school, high school, and you're doing music?
Well, so I grew up in, what people would call the hood, whatever. And so I went to the normal school, that you go through. Again, got bullied, picked on. But my mother was always cognizant of those things. So in elementary, I went to Banneker, which was GT, which stands for gifted and talented, which is like accelerated classes and things like that.
That's wonderful.
So then when I went to middle school, again, I went to the regular school, which was called Tolliston. But Tolliston was mixed. Tolliston had half regular and half GT. And so it was like a more mixed situation. But because of that mix, it was still kind of hard and tough there. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's just how shit was. So they told me about this other school called Emerson, which was Emerson School for the Visual and Performing Arts.
Shit.
And I'm like,
These are in Chicago?
this is in Gary.
Damn.
And so I'm just like, again, I don't want to go to that lame ass school. Like they probably walking around in fucking leotards. I didn't even say whatever the fuck, ballet, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that. So I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. But my daddy was just like, man, just audition or whatever. And so he took me, he was a custodian at Roosevelt High School. And it's like, it's funny because in this current time, we look down upon a career like that. But at the time, it's just like, as a kid going into a school with my daddy after the school was closed and he got the key to every door.
Yes.
This is the tightest nigga in the world.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying? So he took me to Roosevelt High School, which is the school that he worked at. And then he took me into this into the music hall and just had me practicing piano in there on big pianos and stuff.
Yes.
You had a big, like a grand or something.
Yeah. And then I practiced and I auditioned for Emerson, and then I got in 7th grade, and Emerson single-handedly changed my life.
Wow.
Because now I was a piano major, being classically taught piano, going on symphony orchestra trips. Exposure is everything.
Ah, man.
Because
it really is.
It's everything.
Shout out to Dad who knew what to do. And that's
I don't
so
give
tight.
him enough credit. Like, if he was to watch this, he would be shocked that I'm mentioning his
Really?
name this much. Me and him had a tumultuous relationship often, but he would be shocked at
I have
how much I
my
mention him. But I
goosebumps all over
appreciate
my
him
arms
'cause
right
it's
now.
just like,
Yeah,
for real.
No, that needed to be said. I'm so
for
glad.
sure.
That's magical. So then you go to this school and now you're like full throttle in. You're doing art.
I'm in an art school.
Holy shit!
And he can by the way, he can like really play.
Really play.
He has like actual fucking like jazz chops.
And then I was like, wait, why are we not doing this? We should be doing like live versions of these songs. You know, maybe we will.
Yeah.
So you're in there and in there like swimwear, and you're like, okay, is it just a mixture of specialized classes with regular classes? And then
that's how
are
it
they
is.
putting you on track to go to college, or are they like?
It's, man, Emerson was amazing because, again, it was in Gary still. So it's still in the hood. So everybody that goes to this school, we all from our own hoods. There's no not hood in the Gary. All Gary is the hood.
Wow.
And so it's just like, but we're here with classical teachers and visual artists and drama coaches, and they're taking us to symphony orchestras and
probably
plays.
a shitload of talent.
And so but again, the cool thing about being in the quote unquote hood is there is a direct correlation. And I think about this when I want to start my school. There's a direct correlation. There's a reason why Black people are disproportionately talented. Why? Because there's a direct correlation between struggle and creativity. If I don't got much, what I got to do? I got to make some shit up.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes us so particularly creative.
And motivated.
You dig what I'm saying? And so, yes, and when you can cultivate that under, like, again, like a structure, it was amazing. But the real GOAT, more than even my father, is my sister, who I love with everything in my heart and soul. And she fucking had a green Acer computer, and she had Kazaa and BearShare, which were like file sharing download apps. Back in my day, we had
Back with the LimeWires, we
had to do the dial-up to get the internet ready.
Right. So, but she had this library, and she had went to college, and so her computer was still at the house. And in her library, she had Jay-Z.
Let's go.
And fucking Pharrell.
Okay.
And MC Breed and Tribe Called Quest and Lauryn Hill. And I fell in love with hip.
Ooh.
And it's just like, nigga, this shit hard.
Thank you,
What the fuck is
sister.
this? So how old are you? This was high school?
This is like, no. This is like 12 or
This is
13. This
Yeah,
is like
this is
right
still pretty
around that
young.
time.
Yeah, this
And
is a
it's just-
magical time for you.
Yeah.
That was
and
a
I'm
big
just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I got to rap. This is tight.
surprise.
I don't know what the fuck this is, but I like it.
See, Tribe Called Quest, Lauryn Hill. I mean, a lot of these were super similar inspos to me, and it felt so far away. I'm sure it did in Gary, Indiana. I'm sure you were like, damn, where everybody else was in New York or.
Well, no, the cool thing about that era, 2000s, which I miss. I'm so nostalgic for the 2000s.
Same.
We can get another conversation about that.
Oh, we always talk about this. Yeah.
But the cool thing about that era is that music was much more localized. And so, we had Twista, we had Common, we had Do or Die, we had all these Chicago niggas going
Eventually
crazy.
Kanye.
Eventually Kanye not yet though, but we had like Twista, Do or Die, Psychodrama, Crucial Conflict. These a lot of people y'all probably never heard of. That's cold.
Oh.
But they were humongous. To us, they're superstars. You dig what I'm saying? So it's just like I could rap whole Twista verses right now. You dig what I'm saying?
If anybody listening is like inspired by this story, and I've told you about this before, but Evolution of Hip Hop on Netflix is one of the best documented shows about that localized hip hop development in America, and it's so incredible. It's worth a watch.
Regional sounds, the history of them all, how they came up.
There wasn't any in Nebraska, but the other ones are really important.
Yes. But the interesting thing about Chicago and Gary, so my father is from Mississippi. I could go to a whole conversation about him and his upbringing, which maybe I will in this podcast, but I'll speed past that for now. He, as most black people, migrated to Gary because the steel mills are in Gary. And so again, agricultural revolution, this was the great migration when black people who historically have been in the South are now moving north. Because of this is why when y'all hear me talk, I have a slight almost country twang. Everybody in Gary talk like that because all our parents are from Mississippi, Alabama, whatever. You dig what I'm saying? So that's why we all got this country little, you feel me? And so as a result of that, look, ADHD, and I don't remember where I'm at.
I got you.
Keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
She'll show up.
So where was I talking about?
So all the localized rap stuff came out. You're like, I have to rap.
Thank you so much.
I have to
Thank you
rap
so much.
because of sister. Thank you, sis.
So our culture, our music, was always had this soul, jazzy, bluesy gospel thing. So Kanye, Common sampling all these gospel songs is because our mamas were singing, "Oh, down by the river." Like it was all of these like country songs, which turned into that Kanye sample sound, which is why there's this, they call it Chicago soul. There's like this particular blues, gospel, jazz that was really present in our sound because all of our parents from the South.
So cool.
So yeah, we just
Fascinating. It makes perfect sense.
And so when you were like, I'm going to rap now,
Yes.
your family was cool.
Yeah, I mean, cause I'm a kid. I'm a kid. They're
like, all the kids are rapping.
Now, eventually, it wasn't cool when I was just like, no, I'm going to rap. Like, this is what I'm going to do with life.
For
as
my
long
job.
as it was still for fake, like a kid playing, it was cool.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? But that goes later.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like if it becomes serious, though, I don't know. It gets
Yeah.
then the fear cycle comes in.
Well, when it comes down to
the
like
imposter
having,
syndrome.
what happens when you were an adult and all this shit, you realize how difficult it can be to make money,
make ends meet,
and how and that whole like having to take care of your body. And
when
your
you were like,
food,
I'm going to
all
be a
thing and all this
trombone
shit.
player.
Well, this is the fucked up thing. My parents they were just kind of like, all right, there was, and I was like, all right, here, let's see what happens.
For me, it was like, are you going to college? As long as you go to college, it's going to be okay. I was like, all right, I got to get into music
school. It was like that
school.
with mine too.
Right?
Yeah, it was just like, as long as you go to college. Again, my parents never were college educated.
So you're thriving at school, and then you're like, I got to go to college.
Well, the thing is, again, by this time, so now I'm about 14, and I'm in my rap group, which is called Urban Blaze. It was me and 3 other dudes.
Did you have girl groups too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the same. We have parallel lives.
For sure. Yeah, we was in a rap group, and and so at this point, it's like, no, I'm dead ass serious. Regardless of what my parents think, I'm not even thinking about college. I will be doing this. I'm rapping. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and also at this point, my biggest influence in life, this is when I became a Pharrell stan. Ooh. So it's just like, I'm about to be that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care about anything y'all talking about. I'm rapping. So we went to, I remember my first studio was this dude named Chris Staff. No, it was Finger Roll from Gary, Indiana. And he had like a studio. I was just like, that's not called that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're just losing our mind because like just to actually be in the studio doing shit at 14, you're passing out with excitement.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? It's just like, this was the funnest thing ever. And
Unbelievable.
again, for all of my family and all of my older people, my sister is 11 years older than me. So for my sister and my parents, it was just like, oh, he's a kid having fun. And then when I got about 15 and 16, now my grades are diminishing. And it's just like, hey, you got to go to college. And I'm like, hey, I'm a rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and now we're the head butting has begun.
Correct. Yep. That's about the time.
Yeah.
So you did end up going to a college.
Man, so
What was that like?
I made it into college by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
Like I barely graduated high school. I graduated high school by one test.
Damn.
Like I remember his name is Dr. Rentel. I had one test in economics, and if I would have not gotten an A on that test,
It would have been over.
I would have gotten a D in that class, which means I wouldn't have had enough credits to graduate.
Whoa.
You dig what I'm saying? I remember that test and I got an A. It's just like, nigga graduated.
You're also extremely intelligent and well-spoken and interested in history and how things work. So I feel like you would do what you have to do, but do the least. That's actually smart.
And we talked about this a little bit too, but you hated or you struggled in high school.
Oh, it was terrible.
And because you just didn't, it was
You knew all this stuff
or
was like not useful.
Well, so the hesitance that you're hearing right now is just like, but again, you learn everything in hindsight. It's just like, no, it's just I just didn't want to. Like I just didn't want to. But again, back to the way in which schools are structured. They are not structured for right brain people.
Right.
They are structured for left brain linear thinking. Again, I don't even remember what we was talking about 3 minutes ago. I don't got the linear.
Right.
I don't got it.
What's your name?
You dig what I'm saying?
And
You
there
hear me?
there are so many people that listen to this podcast who are also like us. They're right brained. They and lately they've been realizing that like even ADHD and autism spectrum people are just, it's like their hardware is too slow for the software. And so it's like, stop looking at these as like problems.
Absolutely.
Of course, you're being treated unfairly and society is demonizing people with these conditions. But it's like, no, you're just brilliant.
Yeah.
And we just have to continue to build this safe space for people to exist in this way. And you figured it out.
Right before graduation on my SATs, mind you, I had like a 1.9. I'm talking about like GPA, like barely graduated high school type shit. But when SATs came out, I had like almost the highest SAT in the city. I had the highest SAT in my school. Jesus. I almost had the highest SAT in the city.
Wow.
And so now, literally, I had to go to the principal's office because they assumed I cheated. Dead ass, I swear to God.
Do you remember what you got?
I don't remember the score. Ironically, this is no flex. I didn't even finish the test. Swear to God, that's not a flex. I swear to God.
This is were you traumatized by them doubting your performance?
Nigga, I always been traumatized by niggas doubting me, but that's a whole nother conversation. We gonna
that
get
sounds
into
like a whole album, actually.
We gonna
That's
get
the
into
next song.
to that pain because that's probably my biggest pain.
That pain
point.
is the best. That's what drove me to do like the Look at Me Now cover. I was terrified of rapping publicly. I was like, no, I'm a singer. I can't do this.
Wow.
And I just remember like my manager at the time kind of sent it to me as a challenge. He was like, hey, this new song, this Lil Wayne, Chris Brown Busta song's coming out. He's like, you probably can't rap it, so just like sing it or something. And I took that as like, oh, you think I can't? The only reason I did it.
Yes.
So I thrive on that energy.
Spite is a very powerful motivator.
It is.
Yeah, now it is. We'll talk about growth when we get further down the years.
Okay, so now we barely graduated high school. We're going to college because...
Huge SAT. So I got in on what's called conditional admission because although my GPA was trash, I had like a Harvard level SAT score. And so it's just like, well, we gotta let the nigga in the school. You know what I'm saying?
Give him a chance.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so I literally got in. It said that on my admissions letter, like, because your SAT was so high, we are allowing you in on conditional admission, even though your GPA is ridiculous. You dig what I'm saying?
And you moved away from home for this. This is like all new independence.
Yeah, so this is college. Yeah.
Because some people do stay in their home town
No, this
and
was,
go to
this
the
was
local
downstate.
college.
It was Indiana State University, which was in Terre Haute, Indiana, which is like probably 3 hours or something from my house.
Damn.
Yeah, and so I went to college, and again, back to I don't fit in structure. Mm-hmm. First semester got kicked out.
Damn.
I ain't doing a damn thing in that.
Did you really?
I got kicked out the first
shit.
semester. Got kicked out the first semester, and then go back home again. This was around the time that me and my father
For sure.
didn't get along.
Well, he's just terrified, probably.
You hear what I'm saying? In hindsight, that's what I have. But at the time, it just felt like you just don't believe me. You see nothing in me. So it's just like when I came home, it's just like, oh, you got to get a job now. My father can be very cold in a way that just feel like like, well, you a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're off to the wolves. You dig what I'm saying?
Damn.
And so it's just like, so I came home and it's just like, I remember they just kind of like, I can tell they were just embarrassed by me. Again, my sister had done the thing. She had went to a great school and she's good at school and all of these graduated. She worked at some corporate company or whatever. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what they wanted of me. And I understand because, again, they didn't have college. They imagined that was the way out.
It's funny that to even think that someone would assume that a person would be exactly like another person or like another person and that this system would work for everyone.
Yes.
That's kind of cold that we even did that to ourselves as a society.
Yeah. I mean, you about to say something?
No, society's also just been changing so rapidly.
True.
Like he's saying, like that was how you did it. So you could, there were them. They were the people who owned the companies, and then there was everyone else who worked.
Yes.
It feels like we're so young.
Yeah. Well, fuck yeah, absolutely.
If you look at it that way, it's like, oh no, we're still in like the very beginning stages of.
Yeah. And what's going on right now too is like it's now, the people who own the companies are now, the wealth is just so insanely.
The gap is insane.
The disparity is just so crazy.
Oh yeah, we're on the verge of like French Revolution level shit, but I want to get there. I know we're doing a recap.
This is an epic journey.
So let me just expedite the recap. The expedited version of the recap. Came back home, went to another school. Now it's a community college in my hometown.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still just trying to get back up. Got kicked out of that school too.
Shit.
So now again, with the pressures of society, with the pressures of a father who operates in a very patriarchal
survival,
it's just like the worst depression of my life.
Oh.
I'm talking about like felt like a failure. I'm a bum. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have a girlfriend at the time and there was some association in me. It's just like, well, no girl wants you because you're a bum. You dig what I'm saying? And so it's just like I felt like a bum.
Damn.
And I'm talking about it got to the point I was so depressed I thought I started seeing things.
Yeah.
And then anxiety happens. And then I for like a year thought that I was developing an onset of schizophrenia like for a year.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Like to the point that to even hear the word schizophrenia to this day is almost still a little triggering because I was so like, maybe I'm crazy. You dig what I'm saying? Like
your mind becomes an enemy.
Just lost because I felt like, again, you're in shit, you piece of shit, blah, blah, you're lazy, you're a bum, you can't do anything. You're not even a fucking rapper. No girls want you, you bum ass. And this is the self-talk, right? And so I'm trapped in that darkness. And the way in which to get out of that is to just, I don't know, do something. And so I would just fucking lay in the bed in the back of my mama's house. Just got kicked out of 2 colleges, being the bum. Every time my father walks in here, he's like, why you ain't cleaned up? Because again, at this point, what's your value? At least you could fucking clean up the house. And in hindsight, I get it. But at the time, it just made me feel even lower. You dig what I'm saying? It's just like, because essentially my value now is a fucking housemaid. You dig what I'm saying? And it's just because you're a bum. You dig what I'm saying? And you're still here. Anyway, so I would just lay in the back of my bed and watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Because something, and I see that little smirk because one time I'm in the bed and documentary, The Secret.
Oh, The
chills.
Secret.
I got the chills. And it's just like, hey, did you know that you become what you think about? Where are you at right now? It's probably because you think about that all the time. And then I thought, well, like, damn, all I do is think about how terrible I am and how sad I am.
Because it wasn't always like that.
Because I wasn't always like that. And it was just like, well, did you know that you could change your life just by pretending? Think a different thing.
Think a different thing.
Think that you're amazing. Think that things are happening in your favor. Think that life will be good. And I was just like, okay, I can pretend.
Okay.
You know, and again, like, what the fuck else am I going to do, right? And so I woke up. And now I'm thinking of it like a movie in my head, like the montage. Like,
yeah,
so
it
I
is
get
a
up
movie.
The next day, what's up, Daddy? And again, this is the
like,
next day. I was just on my bed, you know what I'm saying, in the montage. Not to say it was actually
right.
the next day. But it's just like,
the story it is now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
halfway through the guitar solo.
But
yeah.
you feel me? Like, functionally, I got up the next day with like a new attitude. Just like, I'm going to pretend things are great. I started listening back to Timing. Jay Electronica, he had just come out and he's like this underground super rapper who used to say, victory is mine, oh yeah, tumble like the dice do, stay on the humble like Christ do, piss stanzas and shy haikus, since I was a young tycoon, tried to moonwalk like Michael, I understood the universal cycles, and he just made these songs about manifestation and all of these words that were not trendy at the time yet. This is like 09.
For sure.
2010. You dig what I'm saying? Or at least not to the zeitgeist. Maybe it was trendy to the super Abraham Hicks people who've been on it since the 80s. But like to the zeitgeist,
there was maybe
yet.
a little movement from Atlanta where they were doing that kind of
right,
stuff.
But like this wasn't a thing like that. And so I'm just like moving in that energy. And so now I get a job at Walmart because what else am I going to do? I need a job.
Movement.
Right? And so at this point, but let me tell you how my life looked. My mother lost her job. My uncle lost his job. And so he came to move with us. My sister had just got 2 kids.
Oh.
And she lost her job.
No.
And
so this is like the 09 crash, probably.
And so everybody's here. And so the only people that have jobs is me, who work at Walmart, and my father, who is a custodian.
Right.
In the hood, in this little house with all these people and 2 infant babies crying. I had every excuse to be pummeled in depression and sadness.
Yeah.
But this was the greatest time of my life because I'm like, but we up every day. We up.
Shit.
I'm going into Walmart smiling.
Was it fast? Like, was the transition fast? You just decided?
Well, I don't know exactly. Again, it took some time.
It was a montage.
Certainly.
Yeah.
It's a montage writing this thing, but this is what happened.
Yeah.
And then I just started believing different. Like, man, no, I'm going to be okay. And so I came up with this idea. Y'all know I love fashion. I was talking to this guy who's currently my manager. At the time, he was just a guy who just believed in us, who just ran this studio that me and my friends used to go to. I was like, I want to start a vintage fashion boutique. And so I literally started shopping at thrift stores and buying shit for like 50 cents and selling it online for like $35.
Yep.
Cashing out, right? You think I'm saying? On this vintage fashion boutique that I had just created while I was still working at Walmart. And so I would leave Walmart, go shopping, bag them up, had these pretty golden boxes that I spray painted in the backyard. You dig what I'm saying? And like sitting them out. And then
before Etsy,
before Depop, before all of this
what's
shit.
her name? She did it for Nasty Gal.
Sophia Amoroso was my idol. You dig what I'm saying? I used to literally just study interviews from her because I'm going to be
You did that
Nasty
already.
Gal.
You did
I'm
that.
going to
Yeah.
be Nasty Gal. You dig what I'm saying? Because she was happening at that moment.
But she wasn't a rapper.
She wasn't a rapper.
Right.
So we were right. And so I was just like, yeah, I can do anything. I'm gonna be good. Next thing you know, I got my friend who went to this school called Wiley College just hit me up and just like, yo, they giving scholarships to my college. You down? They need somebody to come play the piano.
Oh.
So I done got kicked out of 2 schools, all loans in default. There's no possible way that you can go to college. Full ride college.
Shut up.
Manifest your fucking life. You know what I'm saying?
So was that, I mean, how long, was that when you started to understand, like, started to get some proof maybe that this shit could
Obviously,
have
even just the Walmart job is proof.
Well, maybe the Walmart job wasn't proof, but my attitude there was, because it's so funny. One of the things that I noticed at Walmart was that there was the disposition of most people was like really sad.
Yeah.
Like at Walmart, like specifically. And what it was a pet peeve of mine, like, cause I love ownership of your ability and your powers, right?
Yeah.
And so there was this exportation, some would call, I'm not calling them because I understand capitalism is fucked up, but I'm saying like there still was like a victimized mindset of a lot of people that work there. They would do this thing and it used to annoy the shit out of me. They would say, yeah, I wanted to get off at 7 today, but you know Walmart. And that was like, I promise, like everybody did that thing. They would always almost like create this character called Walmart. Yeah. I'm like, no, nigga, that's our supervisor, Don. Just go talk to the nigga. Like, that's Don, bro. Yeah. It's just like, but they would say like Walmart as though it was some immovable force.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, no, you could actually just like ask Don, could I get off early today? But you're just allowing whatever life throws you to be a victim of that circumstance. But again, I can't worry about that. I just got to be my best energy.
And you've experienced the other way.
What do you mean?
You know what it's like to feel
the lowest.
Worthless.
The depression,
100%.
Yeah.
The apathy.
So the empathy was there. I understood it. But again, to this day, part of the thing, and I guess shadow work, part of the things that, one of the things that annoys me the most I did a video recently, and it says, "Whatever you judge is also in you."
It's like a mirror.
It's a mirror, and so I am conscious of the fact that I tend to be judgmental of people who allow themselves to be victims and not take ownership of their life.
Yep.
And it's because of the fact that I've done that so much.
You've seen it in yourself.
You dig what I'm saying?
So
and it's just like, so
true.
whenever I see it, I'm like, nigga, get up. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I almost get angry because I feel like I'm looking at me again.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I'm learning to.
And keep that in mind when like haters come at you too with like hate comments. Keep that in mind. That's kind of a rule that I've learned, is that they're literally seeing it in themselves.
100%.
Whatever they're saying about you, like you suck.
Yes.
It's like, oh, that's an easy compassion hack to be like, oh, babe, I love you. It's okay.
Yes.
I've been there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because that is like not easy shit to share. And I feel like you've made your mess your message, like Robin Roberts always says. And that is like such an epic journey. And we didn't even get to this. I want to get to Satori 55.
Oh.
I don't know if we can jump there, but
Okay.
let me know.
Let me.
We're now, life is turning around. We're getting full ride to college.
Full ride to college. Me and my best friend Jacob started a group. We figure out that the cool thing, this is like 2013, we figure out that the hack of that era is to send your shit to YouTubers. I spent literally countless hours emailing thousands of YouTubers our song, and our song got big. It was called I'ma Be Happy. I got it tattooed on my arm.
Yes.
It got really big. You know what I'm saying? The song got really big, and our career started to be a thing that was just like, oh, we can do some rap shit. Now again, really big is y'all had 100 million. It's not that. It was like 200,000.
But it was an original song. We were covering somebody else's
Right. We
art.
had like 200,000 plays, and it's like, that's crazy.
Huge.
For no money, no promotion,
and
no
it was a
nothing.
concept that you believed in.
Right.
It took me a lot longer to get there.
You hear me?
Yeah.
And so we did that, and we're going Archduke, and that was the name of my group. Me and my best friend
That's
Jacob.
cute.
And we're going to the moon with that. And then one day, just on some bullshit, I was just like, because I've watched so many videos about quantum physics and all of these cool things, I'm like, I can make one of these videos. And I randomly made one called Is There a God? We had 526 followers on our Facebook likes page. I posted that video. It got 1 million views in a week.
Holy shit.
The next day, we had 19,000 followers. And it's just
The next day.
The next day.
Is that shit not overwhelming?
526 followers to 19,200.
You see what can happen, and this was a random like, oh, I could do that.
Just
unrelated to music.
And I had nothing to do with
And
music.
this began your career as a
speaker, intellectual, whatever you want to call it. Just because
Communicator. Yeah.
sort of by accident.
Literally by accident, just being bored and inspired by all of the countless YouTube videos that I had watched. What if I made one of these?
Gem.
And it went crazy. Yeah. And then that's when this whole career started going in that direction. So I'm to get to Satori 55, I'm trying to fast forward.
So much.
Long story short, so that's like 2013. I mean, that's 2015 when that video goes crazy. Me and Jacob, still one of my best friends to this day, he was going through a lot in life. Again, we wrote I'm Gonna Be Happy because we were sad. You dig what I'm saying? And so he was still, now I understand it was even more pressures for him. He had just had a child. There was a lot of things. Long story short, eventually we had, so we had started getting money now. And so and then that's crazy when you first get money.
You start getting money for creative work.
Oh yeah, and I'm talking about, again, early influencer money. I'm like, I had way too much money.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Like way too much money. And so I had a jacuzzi in my room, like dead ass, like
Straight up like Coming to America
like
shit.
dead ass. Like I'm not even playing, like in Gary, Indiana, like not playing, like
God.
feeling
A
so
vibe.
tight.
That's fucking
You dig what I'm
hilarious.
saying? Like we're going crazy.
How did you fit it in there?
Well, so it was in the bathroom, but it was a walk-in. It was the bathroom connected to the
Got it.
room.
Love
You dig what
that.
I'm saying? So it's my private jacuzzi.
En
You know
suite.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just like, live in Gary, where we were paying like $700 for rent for a 2-floor house.
Incredible.
You dig what I'm saying?
I
Going
love
crazy.
that. I
You
miss
dig what I'm
those.
saying?
I miss those days.
So
Yeah.
we're balling out,
Yeah.
right? You dig what I'm saying? But again, I imagine that maybe Jacob felt pressure. He definitely felt pressure to, now he has to do educational videos because now our music has taken a back seat and not intentionally. It just
it's how it worked
like that. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but we still trying to do the music thing. Again, at this point, people are helping us, and we're getting, put on. Like, money is coming, things are good, but mentally, we still weren't where we wanted to be. Bringing other people into the mix, new team, new management, people with not the best intentions.
Sure, has to happen.
It got real dark.
Yeah.
It got real dark.
It's a rite of passage.
Real dark.
Yes.
And it had got so dark to a point where it was just like, yo, I gotta let all of this go.
All of it.
Like, all of it.
Woo.
And so it's just like, and again, like, and so this is not related to Jacob. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about all the stuff that was around us. Me and him was good.
Yes. Yeah.
But our world, our team, our management, all of the people, the nonprofits, it was just like, hey.
Yeah.
I can't do none of this. And then this thing, I had a girlfriend at the time who was one of the most remarkable human beings in life. But I was so afraid, and I was afraid of everything. And so I left everybody, including her. You dig what I'm saying?
It happens.
And I have like 2 regrets in life. One of them is hurting this woman. Oh. You dig what I'm saying? And I left everything, everybody, fired the whole team.
Yeah.
Me and Jake were like, okay, we feeling it. So now it's just me and him. It's just like, okay, well, just Archduke against the world. But again, he was so, at that point, he was in such a dark place that it's just like he wasn't even in the place to do nothing. So it's just like, I have 2 options. Either try to stick it through with me and you. And again, I've been putting my heart and soul into this, trying to create, making sure it's good. But it's just like, there gets to a certain point where it's just like, if you're not down for this, if this is not the goal that you're trying to be on right now, then I got to do another thing. And again, it's not like I'm still not talking to him every day, but it's just like, we can't be a thing no more if we're not both trying to do this. And again, at that point, he just wasn't in that place.
For sure.
And so
it takes a lot of courage to let go of all of that.
Everything.
No, it's really scary.
So it was like letting go of all of it, and then you tried a little bit longer with him, and it was like, oh, I gotta let go of this too.
Exactly.
Why does it happen this way?
That's exactly.
It's like when your life starts to change like that, it's like a full flush.
Literally back to Satori 55. So at this same time, swear to God, as much as I be on all the esoteric shit now, I was not on that.
No,
Raised completely
really?
Christian, wasn't on that.
Oh.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or like the restricted Christian.
Right.
You can still be Christian and be
for sure.
woo-woo, but yeah.
And so out of nowhere, I had, every time I opened my phone, it say 55.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's so much. It's like, I know I'm not tripping.
Why is my clock missing a number?
You dig what I'm saying? Like, is it right?
55.
All right. You're so funny.
You mean 555.
Right, but it's...
Hello?
It was something 55
Angel number.
Every time I looked at anything. And I'm just like, well, what is this? And then,
My favorite number since I was a kid.
Interesting.
Everything's a 5. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's OCD as well. I would do everything 5 times.
Really?
But 5 is my lucky number, yeah.
And so, I started seeing that number all the time. And then when I finally had the courage to just research what it was, and it was like 55 is the angel number of change. That means that you may be going through a particular moment right now. It may be dark. It may be hard, but it is for your best.
They're trying to talk to you.
I started seeing crows all the time.
Ooh.
Like, it's just like, why is it just a flock of crows here? Research crows. What do they represent? Transformation.
Yeah.
Transformation. Death, but not in the way that we think.
Not
the way that we
scary.
think.
Death,
Right.
death in the sense of
Rebirth.
you must die to become something new.
Right.
I'm like, nigga, what?
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, every time I walked out of my house, there is a flock of crows.
Yeah,
like,
that's so
almost
wild.
invariably.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? To the point I had to Google it.
And that must be a thing for you, because when we first wrote together, we did a song called Cruella, which was on Mad Queen. And then for the first time, whenever we'd walk out after that session, we kept seeing these Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Yes,
You bring in all like the symbols.
we
Your
were
guides like talk to you with objects and numbers.
man.
Yeah, we
Crazy.
were like, what the fuck is this? It's so fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if y'all have like angel numbers or things that appear for you. And I noticed for me it evolved. Like lately it's been pennies, which I was like,
Really?
you're creeped out by it at first. And then you're like, conscious mind rests and you say, oh, just look it up, bitch.
Yes.
Google pennies. What do they say? The symbolic meaning of
Yes.
What is
pennies.
pennies?
I'm not saying, what is it?
I forget. already.
Okay.
But now, because now I just
Short-term
know.
memory loss.
Now I just know I can feel what it means. But it's fun to look it up for the first time. For a while, it was hummingbirds. That was a big one.
Yep, I remember that.
Because they don't really come downtown. Hummingbirds are not around, but it was like I kept seeing them. So you get there. So you're like, okay, I got to start this new thing. The sign is clear. And you made it the album title.
Man. And Satori came from the book A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And it was just like, he was like, Satori is sudden enlightenment. You dig what I'm saying? So this was a whole album about sudden enlightenment through change.
And then Queen Herby DM'd me and was like, who are you? I need to know you. Because I love the music and I love like, is there a reason you chose like a yellow theme for the cover? Was that like, because now you're very green.
Oh, yeah, we're moving up.
Oh,
you dig what I'm saying? Oh, everything is.
The chakra systems have evolved. You got out of here and you're here.
You hear me?
Okay.
It's exactly intentional.
And that's why I paint all my, wherever I'm.
The next album will be blue.
Oh,
but so just know this
let's
is going
go.
to be a thing.
So I was going to ask, are you going to give us more music?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because you're so busy in the studio writing for other people. And with other people.
After Unseen to this podcast, I got some shit to play.
Let's go.
but yes, that's why I got into this green, because it's just like, okay, it's time to go back into that. You dig what I'm saying? Because yeah. Well, one quick to put a period on this Satori 55 thing. I'm trying to control my tangents, you see.
You're doing great.
That's what he's here for.
Yeah,
really?
true.
Thank you. So yeah, so I that album, shout out, and if I ain't never said this on a public platform, shout out to Saba. It's a rapper named Saba. That nigga cold as fuck. He's got a huge buzz. He's the nigga. He had an album called Care For Me. So mind you, this song, I'ma Be Happy, me and Jacob wrote when we were depressed.
Right.
So we used to always make these manifestation songs. I got chills as I'm about to speak it. Then I heard this nigga Saba album, Care For Me. The first song called Sirens Busy. I'm so alone, but all of my friends got some shit to do. It was a whole song, it was a whole album about depression.
Ooh.
And I'm like, nigga, you can talk about that shit? Because again, I'm just like, manifestation consciousness don't speak negative.
Right.
But it's just like, then I learned catharsis. It's just like, no, sometimes you got to talk about that pain so somebody could hear you.
Yeah, and so it can be integrated, right?
So yes, but again, out of just a personal thing, but for the service of others, it's just like when I listen to a song that's about someone's depression, now I have somebody here with me.
Yeah. You're not alone in it.
I'm not alone. So for the first time ever, I made sad music.
Shit.
You dig what I'm saying? But on the intro to the album, Satori 55, I am literally crying on the intro. I'm not acting. I am actually crying as I'm rapping that. This life is mine. I welcome God in my soul. I welcome love in my heart. I welcome peace in my mind, although peace was there from the start when I started embracing the changes. Like, I'm literally crying as I'm rapping it. And we just kept the tape because, like, Miranda, who was my manager at the time, was like, nigga, keep that. Like, that was crazy.
Don't change.
Upload.
Like, the courage that you have in every single chapter of this story is, like, profound.
Thank you.
You know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's so moving to me because I had a similar path, but just obviously all the details were different.
Yes.
The scene changes would like looked different or something felt a little different, but it's just really inspiring, and I'm grateful that you shared that with us. And I think there's people listening to this that are also going through similar shit that are going to be like, holy shit, I want to go to the studio and cry too.
But you know what it is too? It's like your ability to be so comfortable in yourself, I think. Is something that is so. I mean, that's what an artist is.
That's enough.
You know.
So literally, do what you want because we're all watching.
For sure.
Yeah, but it's a very it's courage. It's a lot of very like we talk about those like high vibrational words, but it's just a very you're always you. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
And I don't think you can lose.
And encourages us to always be us, because there was a time when I would pretend to be someone else, right? I did it for survival and to feel safe.
Yeah. And everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does. Like that. Oh, shit, that's all the fucking Nirvana songs. He's like, I just feel like I'm a collection of other people's personalities. You know what I mean? It's like a very real human thing.
Yes.
It
You know?
is.
Interesting. What? No, you were about to say something.
No, I was just going to say thank you for your courage and your bravery, because people, just you doing that is like changing the world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that you're such a huge Celtics fan. We got to get the fucking. I got a whole bag of trail mix. So the last session we did with Charity.
Oh boy, that shit.
So he comes over. It's like
one thing we love to do is eat. We love to eat together
it
because
was like 4
I haven't
o'clock.
eaten today.
because we
either.
actually
You haven't
eat.
eaten today either, Charity.
We
Pure
like
lateral brain. I don't think about.
some friends
Oh my
eat
God.
together, but
Like-
other friends like we get food. Like we eat a lot.
If I don't eat like every 4 hours,
He loves to
Yeah.
eat.
I get
We don't eat as
fucking-
much, but I
start getting like shaky, or not shaky, but I'm better now as I'm getting older. But when I was younger, I would
Just
just
hangry.
suddenly 10 minutes later, I'd be like, fuck, just so angry. But so we had like a later writing session.
Yes.
Where we writing this song called G Spot.
Yes.
Okay. And so we were like, hey, you guys want some snacks or something? Like, oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really hungry.
Yeah.
And I take out these snacks and fucking the whole bag of
The
trail mix.
but it's good trail mix.
It's
It's
as if my
good trail
brain
mix.
doesn't do the hunger thing. Like for real. Like I
So
tell people,
funny.
it's like my brain don't do that thing. Whatever the thing that signals
You're a
that
fully
you need to
intuitive
eat.
person.
I don't do it. I don't do that. I don't realize until I'm consumed. It's like, damn, I'm hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I don't even realize until the second food. Like I haven't eaten today.
And you're
That's
tall.
normal.
Like you need calories.
I
You can't
need
just
it.
like
Yeah,
I
but
can
all of a
shrink
sudden,
away.
I can go all day. I don't remember I'm hungry until it's like 8 p.m. and I'm like,
Oh, shit.
Oh,
I probably should.
right. Need to sustain my
Yeah.
body
That's
Yes.
so funny. Yeah, that doesn't happen with me at all.
ever.
Yes.
One of the things, it's good you jumping back to the Pharrell thing, where we
Yeah.
were watching that Hip Hop Evolution, what is it, series
The
or whatever.
show.
They were saying at one point, 40% of the songs on the radio were either like written or produced or had artists.
And that was in my
tags.
prime time. That was they say that whoever is your favorite artist, you almost certainly experienced them at 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Like whatever your favorite music of all time is. Like if you name what's your favorite song ever, you're probably 12.
Plus, I have like so much goosebumps during this episode.
Yeah.
Like so much. So if I'm relating to all these things so deeply, I know they're going to like gag. That's Pharrell changed the game.
Yeah. And I was, like,
He's still
12.
changing the game.
Oh yeah, man. Like, man, that's
And he got his fashion thing too. So is that a plan of yours to like get into that?
100%.
What even inspires your fashion? You're wearing an Angry Beaver shirt. Those of you that aren't on the Patreon, you can't see us. We got the theme song. Okay, these two are young. Podcast Alice and Charity are young enough for Angry Beavers. Celtics hat only because the color way. Thank Goddess necklace. Yes, represent.
You feel me?
The fact that I get to make necklaces for all my friends and for many of you, this is so great. So green is your vibe right now. So you
Green.
are very color driven, which we have always been to since
Right.
Carmen. Like we
Yes.
love monochrome.
Hence the purple fucking loft.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no. So Satori 55, that album was yellow because I was back to integration because I am this super right-brained yin energy person. Discipline, order, structure, consistency, all of these things I've struggled deeply with my whole life. And so that was about me like leaning into that energy, which is the yellow chakra, the chakra of drive, ambition, forward movement, making things go, and so I was kind of like, again, that color work of integrating that. Now I'm moving into like stepping into my heart. You mentioned courage. We speak about empathy and nurture and kindness and compassion, and we relate that to the heart so much. We fairly rarely realize that courage is also a heart thing. You dig what I'm saying? And what's so beautiful about human beings is that human beings, we know things. And so when we speak in our naturalness, that inner knowing shines. So when somebody's very courageous, what you say to them? You got heart. It's because some we know it's here.
This is where it's vibrating.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so again, back to that woman who I ran away from, because I ran away from so many things. I was, to be frank, cowardly. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of my life, I have been cowardly. Anxiety and depression, and not to say that if you have anxiety and depression, you're cowardly. But in my case, in a lot of ways, it was because of so many fears. And so I'm working on a book right now. I'm not going to drop the title, but in that book, the first chapter I have is called "What is the Opposite of Fear?" As a person who had all of this belief and this confidence, I thought that the opposite of fear was belief. You dig what I'm saying? Because it's just like, well, if you're afraid and that's stopping everything, well, what's going to keep you going? I believe. And so, but I was still having anxiety attacks like all the time, even though I knew I believed in myself more than most people I know.
Right.
So I had a friend of mine, his name is Robert Edward Grant. I called him just to like, yo, and he's like this super esoteric nigga. He's like an older nigga. Y'all should follow him on Instagram. He's like this old white man, like
It's a great name.
almost a billionaire or some shit like
damn.
random. You know what I'm saying?
You're friends with all these like famous
He's a random,
authors and
but
shit.
anyway, so I hit him up like, yo, I have so much belief, but I be anxious all the time. What is in that? And he was like, well, Charity, you believe in you? Blew my mind. I believed in me, but I didn't. But if you think about life, most of the things that happen to you don't got nothing to do with you. Right now, all of y'all could kill me right now or whatever. So my self-belief is irrelevant. This could crash down and burn.
Right.
So my point is, even if I'm the most, this could fall and crush. It's like, if I'm the most confident in myself and I have all of this other belief, but I don't believe in anything but me, because again, that spite, I'm trying to move, I'm trying to make shit happen. Nobody believed in me, so I got to do it. Me. You're going to be scared.
Yeah.
You're going to be living a life in fear, because the thing that really is the opposite of fear is trust. And trust is a rest. It is so trust. So belief comes from the word bleth, which like some ancient Latin word or whatever the fuck. And the bleth moved into belief and faith. Bleth, faith, bleth, belief. Both of those words functionally mean the same thing. They came from the same root. And if you see what that word meant, it meant to believe in the trust of something. What that means is, what belief and faith is, they require something else. In order to have belief, I have to believe in Herbie, believe in me, believe in Nick, believe in Alex, believe in God. Believe it is an external thing. Trust comes from the ancient word duru, which is the same root word of trust. It's the same root word of tree, and it's the same root word of durable.
Oh.
Ooh,
Roots before fruit.
Y'all, you hear me, right? And so trust is something that is strong in and of itself. It stands because it is. I trust. You dig what I'm saying? I'm saying all of this to come back to that thing called courage. Courage happens, and it is expanded when you can enter that trust. You mentioned David Hawkins. The first, as y'all know, for the viewers, I'm sure y'all have talked about it on the podcast before, like courage is known as like the virtue through which, when you pass through that, you can enter the higher quote unquote vibrations. Everything beneath that is a more not aligned way of existence.
Right.
My first understanding of that was through Cornel West. And he said, courage is the enabling virtue of all other virtues. Again, same.
It's
right?
all the same.
All
It's
these
all
books
the
are
same.
talking
He's a
the
preacher.
same.
You dig what I'm saying? It's just like,
Yes, fascinating.
He understood that courage is the door you must pass through to get to what you want.
Yes.
Really
You dig
is.
what I'm saying? And it's just like, it is this understanding that it's just like, what am I going to do? Am I going to rest? And not even rest, because it's not a rest. Am I going to be lost in the pull and push of what might happen? Is this okay? It's just like, no, I have to be able to look at the darkest parts of me and go into it and say, what's to that? I recently had a dream, again, spirit guys, whatever you want to call it.
They do talk to you.
overly connected to that
They
shit.
really-
Damn near them niggas
Oh,
annoy
talking-
me.
Is it annoying? I was
No,
gonna say, do you
dead
like
ass.
it? Because some people
Just
who are
chill.
so, because you have what we would call like psychic talents, if that's the case. I know it's like a scary word, but you just are more, your veil is thinner. You're more open.
Oh, it's so thin, which
Yeah.
is why I don't do like shrooms.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Yes,
Charity
I think
doesn't.
we had a
Charity doesn't
conversation
use
about
any
this
of the
one.
psychedelics that we.
You're too
like, no,
close.
like again, like
Yeah.
I know I
You're
exist,
already-
again
I'm-
back to the thought I had schizophrenia. My whole life I have been like so aware of like what lies beyond in such a
Entities.
very clear way. Like I've had sleep paralysis my whole life.
It's terrifying.
My whole life.
Do you
Since
have
I was
that?
a
Have you had it?
You've
I've had
had
it
it,
since a
so you have psychic powers too. This is just like the ADHD conversation. Like these are just, your software is faster than your hardware. So these are not bad things.
Yeah,
They're just scary.
But they can be confusing, and
I would wake up, and this is a real thing. Like this is not like. So I thought maybe it's not real. Maybe it's sleep paralysis. I'm really just still dreaming, and I'm not actually.
It's
up.
literally your body doesn't work, right?
Right. And so I thought that maybe it's a dream. So well, first, I'm glad you're so good. You're giving context to the audience, right? So sleep paralysis is this thing where you'll wake up and you're up. My nigga Alex.
Are you so scared?
He don't even like talk about this shit right now. But
you don't have to if it's too triggering.
Do you want me to not talk? Okay, yeah.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about me.
So sleep paralysis is this thing where you wake up and you're up, but you cannot move. Mm-hmm. You cannot talk. You cannot do anything. You're just frozen, but your eyes are wide open. Ugh. And for some reason, you can see you can see what room you're in. But for whatever reason, you can also see, who are you?
Okay.
Like niggas, like people.
So you're
like
still
things.
You're still in the dream world, but you're back in your body. You're back in the room.
But again, I could be looking at you, but I see a thing right here.
Right.
Like an ogre figure or whatever. It's right there next to you.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And so you think your whole life that, well, maybe I was actually still dreaming and I was just dreaming of people in my room.
Right.
Until one day when I was at Wiley College, I was dating a woman named Rosa Snow. She'll tell you that I'm putting her name out here just for the sake of, so nigga, you could call her.
Validate.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
This is a true story.
And so I'm in the bed with her. She's my girlfriend. And I'm in sleep paralysis. And then I look over at her. She's up. And I can't speak. But because I see her, I guess everything, I was like, wake me up. And then she had to shake me and she's like, what the fuck? And then I had to walk out the room, instant anxiety attack, because now, it's been real this whole time. My eyes do be open.
Sure.
And I do be actually
and her
paralyzed.
shaking you did take you out of it.
Did wake me up.
To connected you back to the.
Just like, what the fuck was that?
Are you ever like floating over your body, or it's just
no? I be
you're
in my
You're
body,
in it.
but it's again like
but it's almost like you become interdimensional.
No, it's just like I remember one time I had it in my friend Janae's car again, and I'm looking. And so we were on a road trip to Wiley. Me, Janae, and Jacob was going back to school from Indiana to Texas. And I looked to my right. I remember like it was yesterday. It was like this short figure. His hair was like square. It kind of looked like an eraser. He kind of looked like an eraser. And he looked at me like this, and his teeth looked like a bunch of little erasers, and it was like a green light. I could draw the nigga. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
you're going to put out some art for us.
We're going to sell this.
Real life.
We're going to sell this animated series to Netflix.
This is real life,
and
bro.
Charity has never done drugs.
And that's why I don't do none of that shit, because it's just, and so yeah, you Google and you research, it's just like, oh no, that's a real thing. And sleep paralysis, again,
I'll be researching tonight.
The veil is so thin that you can see the otherworldly shit and the present world shit at the same time.
Yep.
It's a thing.
Somebody was
much input.
Someone was explaining today. It was like a piece of content I scrolled by, and she was asking her guides, like, is time linear outside of Earth? And her guides were like, no. So actually, every possibility is happening at the same time. We're just experiencing time as a line right now in these bodies. So
which is why I love science, like because that's what the theory of relativity is.
Yeah.
Like Einstein said this. He said that time is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. This is a direct quote from Albert Einstein. E equals MC squared is like, well, that's not theory of relativity, but let me go back to theory of relativity. Theory of relativity is just like everything that happens is only relative to something else.
Right.
And thus, so the speed of light, to basically explain it perfectly,
is fast because we're slow.
You dig what I'm saying? And it's just like, so the sun is what's known as 8 light minutes away from us. This is not.
Oh yeah, 8 minutes. If it explodes, we have 8 minutes.
So if it explodes, we wouldn't even know that bitch. No, we don't have 8 minutes. We'll probably already be dead the second it explodes.
Oh.
We just wouldn't see it explode.
Oh.
You dig what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't even know.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Until 8 minutes later, we wouldn't be able to visually see that.
8
so
minutes
the
are
sun
gone.
would just
We
look
lost
normal, and we would just all burn. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't even visually see the light of it yet. And that's, again, the closest what's the thing that means star? Stellar?
Bodies.
Celestial. That's
celestial
what I'm looking for. Celestial thing to us. But like the closest thing other than that, Proxima Centauri, I think is 4 light years away from us. So we're seeing how it looked 4 years ago.
Yeah.
4 years.
If that motherfucker
That's a
blow
long
up, we won't
time.
see it for 4
4
years.
years.
You dig what I'm saying? Saying all of that to say, it's just like everything time only exists relative to something else. If you are, it's just so brilliant. I could go into Einstein all day.
Well, the scene from Interstellar, right? When they're in the black hole.
I never watched Interstellar.
Oh, you're
Did
gonna
I lose my
Yeah.
esoteric card?
Yeah.
watch Interstellar. Well, I'm not gonna fucking. Are you gonna watch it?
I don't give a fuck. I mean, maybe. But I heard it's tight though.
You could just tell
You're
him
gonna love
about it.
We're gonna do shrooms together. We're gonna watch
my God,
Interstellar.
no.
You're gonna see.
Do it.
We're gonna see all kinds of fucking interdimensional fucking creatures. It's gonna be a great time.
Yes.
No, well, there's a scene where they go to this. There's this black hole they're trying to get to, and there's this beacon. They sent out. Long story short, they're at this water planet that's really close to the black hole, and because it's close to the black hole, the gravity there is like so much different. So every hour there is like
10 years or 20 years.
every hour is like 5 years, 7 years.
So they lose
on
a decade
Earth
of Earth time every minute they spend.
or every
And
hour.
that's
So
not,
he comes
and that's
home-
not science fiction. That's actually
Yes,
science.
and that's what I think blew people's mind about the movie and
Yes.
it's so well executed and good acting and et cetera. But he
Yes.
comes back and like talks to his daughter who was a kid and now she's older than him.
Yes. Another quote, I don't know if this is from Einstein, but it says like, when you get really good at science, you realize that there is no God. But then when you get really, really good at science, you realize that there has to be one. Oh,
That's
boy.
tight.
This is why I love science. I'm like, we could do a whole episode with you on science.
Okay.
Next season on House
The
of
big
Herby.
thing, like saying that there's a distinct difference between what is it, grand design, or what's the term?
Intelligent design.
Intelligent
versus
design versus
evolution.
Okay, now you're saying that there is a difference. What if they're the same thing?
Yes.
What if, you know what I mean? Like, people talk about like
Not in
the
our
eye.
duality-based universe. We like everything to be black and white.
Well, yeah, it's like this or that. It's like God made it, or nope, and I'm not I didn't come from a monkey. It's like, well, hold on, slow
But you
down.
kind of did. So
zoom out a little bit. Like
Yes.
they look at the evolution of the human eye.
Yes.
All right. And there's this one guy trying to explain like what had to happen for like the complexities that go on in the brain and the human eye for us to be able to see what we can. He's like, it's like pretty much taking apart a 747
Yes.
and having a tornado come through and perfectly rearranging it.
Yes.
Okay.
that's the likelihood.
That's the
the
likelihood
eye
of like the
developing.
amount of time that they pretty much like that they think the human eye like evolved into
Right.
what we perceive it as today.
Yes.
And it's like, sure, technically it could happen,
Yeah.
but it's not like it, there feels like perhaps there is some other energy or force or something
Well, so now
guiding it along.
I will, as a person who is equally spiritual and scientific, I will say that what you're doing is a logical fallacy known as God of the gaps. You've heard that fallacy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's your God of the gapping right now. It's just like, well, if we can't figure out how it's done, it must be God. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Aliens.
It's just like, or alien. Now, there's some compelling shit with that. Though.
Well,
It's
that-
just like,
I love it.
It's
Are
just
we
like,
doing an
if y'all
alien
go
episode?
into like the ancient, the pyramids and shit, it's just like, again, I'm not saying like all black people couldn't be, because that's the first. So as a black person, when you say the Egyptians, like the pyramids might have been built by aliens, like niggas instantly like. So you said we couldn't?
So it's
like,
gotta
you know
be
what I'm saying?
aliens?
Like, it's just like it couldn't be black people. It could be black
Yeah.
people, and also they're perfectly aligned with fucking stars to like the 10th of a centimeter, my
Yeah,
nigga.
yeah.
It's just like, it's so ridiculously high tech that at the least, if it wasn't aliens,
a collab.
you feel me?
It was a
They
feature.
was featured.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? Aliens definitely hopped on the verse,
They
bro.
did
Like,
a really big.
They were talking about the machinery that they would need to be able
like
to get it.
lasers that are impossible. Like it's so perfectly. It's like it would be the level of lasers. Again, Robert Edward Grant, the same person. He goes to Egypt every year and sleeps in the pyramids.
Have you been
Dead
there?
ass.
Really?
No, I haven't.
I really want to go.
He invited me to go. I'm gonna put you on with this nigga. You would love this nigga.
cool.
But he literally goes and takes people there and like sleeps in the Great Pyramid and shit.
So wild.
that.
They
You
say
dig
it's
what I'm
very activating. I've been researching sacred sites this week
Yeah.
because I did like an astrology reading with my girl Maddie Murphy the other day, and she just blew my mind. She does every time I talk to her, but she was like, "Oh, you're entering like a 40 days, 40 nights cycle where you need to like go off grid and like go to like Sedona or one of these places where they say there's extra energy because there's like ancient. Apparently, my ancestors are trying to tell me something, or I'm trying to like acquire skills that I had from past lives, and apparently I'm supposed to like do a whole new set of things
Yes.
next.
Yes.
And it's scary, but I'm like, oh, Egypt. Can we
Egypt,
go?
bro.
Yeah. I think maybe I had a past life there or something, but it could be as simple as going to Sedona. And so maybe we'll start there.
Yes.
It's definitely a closer plane ride.
It is.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
For sure.
If I'm driving, Sedona.
Mount Shasta. I think Mount Shasta is another good
yeah,
one.
that's also that's not far either.
Yeah, I just want to go somewhere where I feel like buzziness everywhere, and I just meditate for like 4 weeks.
It's like, man, like I'm so intrigued by ancient times. Like if I had a time machine, I would do one of two things. I would either go back to these ancient times and see what was really happening in Egypt, or I would go to like 1994, but like as an adult.
Yes.
Because I feel like the 90s for black people was the rawest shit ever. I was just like, damn, I want to see Wu-Tang, my nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Can you imagine?
if I could go to 94 as an adult, that would be the rawest shit ever. You know what I'm saying? But like, other than going to 94 as an adult, I would want to see, because again, all of the sites like that, Tibet, Peru, the
Machu
Mayans,
Picchu,
Incans, like they're so similar in a way. Like I'm talking about like not just kind of similar isn't even a word, synonymous. Like they are almost like the same design structure in so many very particularly like impossible that it was a coincidence ways,
Right.
which suggests that maybe they all had a similar ancestor, they get Atlantis, and all this sounds real conspiratorial until you actually go to the fucking and you see the pyramid, nigga. Like,
Yeah, and they're
go
like-
to like I went to Cancun, like go see the Mayan pyramids. It's just like,
How?
you
Yeah.
feel me?
Oh.
A rope, bro? A rope?
Yeah.
Like,
The whole just the stones that they carried, like from where they got them.
yes.
The distance they had to go.
Come on.
And they had to go through, like, there weren't like roads and shit. So they were like, how just the sheer like engineering of having to move these, like, you know, 15 ton, like,
today with our technology currently, we couldn't do it.
or it
Right.
would be incredibly expensive.
Or
something
it-
insanely like, right.
Yeah. What do y'all
Yes.
think currently about, because this kind of puts a lot of this shit together with AI and the writers, and I was talking on Threads the other day. That's a whole nother conversation.
Whoa. Hello,
right?
Threads.
Right. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's all correlated. What do y'all think about, you was talking about the gap between the wealthy and the poor? Like, bro, even the somewhat wealthy, i.e. actors and writers in Hollywood it's tough in these streets, bro. It's just like we ain't never, like Hollywood is shut down right now.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that? And what do y'all think that says about our future as relates to AI and all of that?
Oh yeah, I mean, shit. Do you want to? It's very incredibly necessary.
Yeah.
I think especially from like because I think their initial proposal, and I am in no means an expert on this shit at all.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the studio's initial proposal was pretty much they wanted to say like, hey, cool, we're gonna come in and just like face map you, like get all the footage and the stuff we need for the AI and stuff, and pay you for a day's work.
Crazy.
And then we're just gonna do what we want with it for however long we
Bunkers.
want to do with it. So it's like, whoa, hold on. So obviously, you know,
No.
let's like go fuck
No.
yourself. But and even with, it's interesting though. So I'm not super familiar. We fucked around with it a little bit, but I think also it's collecting. How it works is it's collecting from everything that it can grab from, right?
Yes.
So it's more of like like we were talking about, more like a mean or a medium
100%.
of the collective work rather than trying, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder, and I'm sure that's going to change too.
Yes.
But so this still is going to be more and more and more important for particular artistry and
Yes.
for specifics
Yes.
and for your own experiences and stuff like that you can't really get in like an aggregate, you know, type of like Google search in
Yes.
0.2 seconds for it to like whip through.
Yes.
But look, it is like you're saying too. It's becoming easier. I think as a culture, this is what happens when like everybody comes to America to get rich and fuck bitches and right. It's the American dream and all this stuff. And I think when you do that when everybody is doing that without integrity, the kind of the bottom starts to fall out a little bit. And it's like, well, how much money is enough money? And who are you willing to destroy, or what kind of, like, a big thing that we've noticed too that was really frustrating is like people don't care about the quality of a product or something like that. It's more just about like maybe in the beginning to get the hook.
Investors and get the money.
And then it's just immediately the cheapest thing we can possibly do. And like, look, I get it. I get it and I understand. But, you know, eventually what happens is people just move on from the company. And then it's just kind of like it's got its 7-year cycle.
And then it dies. But the original owners sold it. And so it's like a 7-year
and they go off and do their thing. And they realize they're not happy with all that money on their island that they bought still. Yes. And that's something that they're still going to have to figure out. Yes. Nobody can hide from it. Thanks. But it's an interesting thing that I think culturally we're, as a species, kind of all going through at the same time right now, where it's like this billionaire or bust mentality is kind of having this make or break moment. You know, it's like in climate change, we're having a lot of intense things that we're having to focus on right now. It's like a society. And I think we're going to be all right, but it is going to require a lot of change, I guess.
555.
555.
There's a steakhouse in Long Beach that we should go to. It's called 555.
Go crazy.
It's really good.
We get the chicken.
I'm with it.
And a martini.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's like right by the ocean. It's beautiful.
Yes. What do you think? AI.
Oh, okay. So a lot of people I always say this. I feel like I'm talking about it so much, and I've now become attached to my opinion on it, which is probably not true. I'm sure it's somewhere in the middle, right? So the first thing was everybody was afraid, because it was the initial stages of it was stealing aspects of other people's work and smashing it together and saying it's new. Yeah. That's weird. Yeah. That's definitely weird. And I was not aware of it. And I remember posting a bunch of pictures of myself, and I was like, oh yeah, we need to talk about this, y'all. Yeah. But now what I'm seeing and I'm noticing is that it's like customer service, which is a job that like nobody likes, could be handled. Sure. You know, a bunch of like medical positions, paperwork in doctor's offices is like 99% of the job now. My brother works in a hospital and he's like, yeah, it's mostly paperwork. Like, I'm very depressed. It sucks. I can't care for people. So imagine like the good stuff too, but yes, let's defend our creative rights. Let's have people that maybe were working these more like transactional jobs. Yeah. Let's free them up. Like, let's give them the tools. Yes. Maybe that's still their job, but they're using AI to do the work so they can become creatives. I would love to see a revolution. Absolutely. And I think that's what's happening in Hollywood is they're like, hey, let's defend our rights. And
everything is streaming. So even like with music, like you went from in the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, you would get 2 big songs and put them on an album and sell it for $20.
You're balling.
And if you got a little bit of attention, that shit would go platinum. Right. That's just how it went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like now,
if Netflix doesn't want to, is it Netflix that it's like the streaming platforms that are fucking everybody?
TP or some shit, which is all of them niggas, like HBO Max, Netflix, Amazon.
So they're all going to go down if they don't.
Here's the thing,
they're pretty fucking established.
Well,
the reason
so
why
was
they
the
might
cable
not go
companies.
down.
So was Blockbuster.
We would have to choose as a society to.
We would have to produce and promote our own films.
Because here's the thing about capitalism that's so strange, is that it is. So one of the most interesting things y'all could ever watch is the PBS documentary Amazon Empire.
Oh,
it's so good.
Let me write it down.
You dig what I'm saying? And it's just like. From the bottom to the top, Jeff Bezos, his people, their story. And it was just like, and at the beginning, like, I love great documentaries, because I think a documentary is more difficult than a movie, because you have to create a narrative and make it work together rather than you have to create a narrative of shit that is not narrative. You dig what I'm saying? And make a narrative of it. I think that's so great.
I love
So
documentaries.
they edited this one person in like at the very beginning, and then she was like one of the people who was like with Jeff from the beginning. And it's like, it starts off just like this. She was just like, world domination, that was the plan from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it starts. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking good.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, like, the reason why he started off selling books is because there are more items in the book section than any other section. Not because he liked books, but because there are more of them, which means more money and more to sell. So anyway, their motto is customer obsession. Slick, Jeff Bezos is the OG of data. He understood that if I can understand how you would want to do a thing, and I can thereby advertise you shit based on how you would prefer to do a thing, you're going to do a thing a lot. This is the OG algorithm nigga is
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, which
Yeah.
is why he fucking rules Earth, right? And so, but the thing about it, to take it back to the Netflix and streaming and Spotify, is that these things, these sites are so great for the consumer. They're just not great for the producers on it.
Right.
Nigga, $15 for every song in the history of time in my pocket. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really hard for you to make me not go for that as a nigga who just listens to it.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
really care about you, Herbie, because you're the rich bourgeoisie anyway.
Right,
Fuck you.
right.
I work at goddamn Home Depot. So
Yeah.
fuck you. I'm gonna listen to your music
Yeah.
and you'll get your 0.001 of opinion and be
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
You think I'm saying? That's what makes these things difficult to combat is because they are really good for the end consumer.
Sure.
They're just not really cognizant of the fact that we as humans are also producers and not just consumers.
And you remember the time when like music artists were like, I'm not putting my shit on Spotify. I'm pulling my shit off the stream. It's like if
Get real.
everybody doesn't do it, it's not going to work.
It's not
So
gonna
that's why
work.
this is pretty shocking and like impressive that
Yeah.
the actors and writers are doing it.
I wish we in music had a union.
Right? I was saying to Alex before we started this podcast today, I was like, yo,
Music is-
imagine if like artists understood record contracts.
I know.
If we had a union, and so
The
shout out to SAG,
film industry always gets it.
shout out to SAG and WGA because it's like you're not finna get on TV if you're not a part of the gang. You dig what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
you can't be on TV if you're not SAG, which works perfectly
Mm-hmm.
beneficial in moments like this because if shit not good, we could shut this whole bitch down.
Yeah.
You can't shut music down. It's the wild, wild west.
It's dude.
You cannot
and
shut
the
music
internet
down.
and streaming has always made it. I had somebody tell me in like I don't know. Well, I'll just tell the story because they said like don't tell anybody. Pretty much an executive
Yes.
at a major label, head of marketing,
I'm just getting all the head shakes.
I ain't point no elbows.
threw their hands up in frustration and said,
Yes.
"I don't know how to make a record hot until it's hot already."
Yeah, so music, because we all got
don't-
fucked and we didn't understand the record contracts, we now have artists that are independent that are getting hits. It's just starting to happen just
100%.
now. This didn't happen 10 years
We
ago.
are now in the moment where
We're in the
it's just
future.
like we are in the moment where you literally we've been saying this shit for years, but
We're there
right
now.
now you do not need a label.
Right.
Period.
So maybe the film
you
industry
can
could
go
get there.
crazy. You
but
dig
they're
what I'm saying?
10 years away.
But again, the problem, which is why like it's like again, yin yang, there's balance necessary. Because of unions, they can do collective things for the industry that benefits. Again, me as a songwriter, you dig what I'm saying? Like, here's the reality of why it sucks to be a songwriter and why I kind of lean more into artistry, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna play y'all some shit after this podcast. But it's just like I don't get no day rate. There's no day rate for a songwriter. I gotta come in. I gotta be in there 7 hours with whoever you are,
Giving your all.
giving my all, and I leave. And the next day, the artist could say, I don't like those songs. And they never come out. And let's say they do come out, right? One of the songs that I did recently, I wrote the majority of it.
The entire thing.
You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's just like, and I own a tiny fragment of that song. A ridiculously, insanely tiny fragment. And it's not like nobody did me dirty. It's just like, it was just standard. Like, it made sense. It wasn't, they didn't fuck me. But it's just like the very nature of it, because there is no governing bodies. There's no FDA. There's no SGA. There's no nothing to decide. It's just like, oh, no, you don't get no day rate. You only get paid if the song comes out, and you get your publishing royalties 12 to 18 months later. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be $6,000 maybe.
Yeah.
In a year. You dig what I'm saying? It is just like, bro.
And it's the most important part, I think.
The
of
only
the
way
entire
music
process.
exists is because it's
sure.
written.
Well, it's so, and like, from having kind of been like both sides of the coin too, it's like, yeah, that's why I learned how to produce. I understood when we did Carmen, who I'd go in there, I was like, oh, wait. So they keep all of the things. We go in and like, we could say, I want it like this, whatever. And like, we leave and they do whatever they want. And then the label is telling them something else too. And then it just comes out and we're like, oh, okay. So it was all of these interesting dynamics, but like the writing is the most important part and it takes the most energy and it's the least.
Now, as a
it gets the
producer,
least
you can say
It has
that.
no leverage.
Well, no, but I'm
leverage.
a,
Because you
That's
produce
right.
too.
Oh,
So, like,
yeah.
what's harder, making a beat or composing a song?
Well, for me, maybe things are different for different people. Writing is easier. Again, whatever you want to call it, veil to the whatever. You play a beat right now, I'm going.
Yeah, Gary, you're doing it. Yeah, I've seen it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but producing is a little bit more. You dig what I'm saying?
It's a little
Bleep,
more.
bleep, bleep.
What's the organizational side?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, which is cool. Like, I love producing.
Yeah.
But writing does come easier for me.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say that that's for everybody.
Yeah.
But even for a producer in the music industry, it's just like, again, back to the beauty of technology and the curse of technology. Timbaland, I remember I used to research it because I wanted to be him, Pharrell. Back in 2004, 2005, Timbaland made $500,000 a beat.
Yeah.
You hear me?
That's what I'm saying.
0 producers. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. Metro, nigga, nobody
Those times
is
are
making
gone.
$500,000 a beat. Why? Because you get a laptop right now.
Yeah.
You get your phone right now. They got Ableton for the phone, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Anybody can make a beat. So there is no, and because of the internet, because of
Yeah, it was peak.
because of people honestly wanting to get out, wanting to back to, this is the problem with capitalism is, and why it's just inherently don't work, because it kind of implodes from the bottom.
Right.
It's just like, because I'm so thirsty to get a placement, I do your beat $500 right now.
Yeah. Right.
So you driving the whole market down. You
And that's
dig
what could
I'm
happen.
saying?
That could happen
'Cause
in
there
Hollywood.
Are so many little niggas that's cold.
Yeah.
That's like cold.
Waiting for their shot.
Well, you can buy for $500.
Yeah.
And so now Tay Keith is just like, and all shout out to Tay Keith, he cold. I'm just using him as a random name example. Whatever your favorite producer is,
Yeah.
might not be able to charge, like, again, biggest producers out probably charging maybe 15.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm talking about A-list super producers.
Yeah, the
Again,
highest-
unless they got personal relationships that would, again,
Some
artists
deals.
that show love and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm giving you 50 bands for this, whatever. But it's just like $100,000. No. And it's because it's just, again, with streaming, with so little money in it, people want to pay the littlest amount. With the fact that it's accessible to everybody and everybody can do it, the value is not there. Everybody's a rapper.
So if you're listening to music that you love, that person really loves to make music.
Yes.
Because it's not that lucrative for most of us.
It is not that lucrative.
Yeah.
It is not.
And it's in Hollywood because of all the stuff. Well, we like qualified for like SAG health insurance one time, and I was like, damn, they have all these systems like we were taken care of because we were on SNL or something one time.
Yeah.
They played reruns of that.
I was just talking to my
Like-
friend who was on SNL yesterday about this exact thing. She was just like, they tried to make me get in SAG from being on there one time. Yeah, no.
Film and TV is like they take care of people.
They
So
take
I don't
care
know.
of
I don't know what's going to happen. I wish there was a world. I think I would be more interested in making films and television if it was independent, because
I know
it
the
feels
future.
like the music. You know the
Where your
future?
crystal ball at?
Tell me. Oh,
I know you got one.
I got skulls.
Nigga, all right.
Oh, just use that crystal. Yeah.
We gonna hold the amethyst.
Hold the amethyst. Tell us the future,
Let me tell y'all the future.
please.
Direct to consumer. It is the future.
So
The future is you gonna just sell your shit straight to the people.
yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And like, that sounds so basic, but it's just like, it is the future.
And what that requires you to, like, because it kind of, I don't know why, but we've had to do this our whole fucking career. This is
Yes.
how anybody knows who we are.
We got into that DTC thing early, like
early.
uncomfortable, and
Before-
everybody didn't believe in it yet.
Yes.
Yeah, before it's like now the thing that it is. But it's like what that does on the other hand too is it's like we were on a couple of this podcast talking about like what's required of you as an artist today and stuff. And it's can be such an overwhelming amount of energy and focus and work just to then create the art.
Yes.
And now you have to be the marketing department as well.
100%.
And there's like, it's all of these things. So it can be, trust me, everybody listening, like, I feel like we're slowly starting to understand ways to get all these things done. And then on top of all that, it's quality of life.
Yes.
What the fuck are you working so
Make
hard
some
for?
boundaries for yourself. I feel
because-
like we talked about this entire season, which is why this is such perfect timing. I knew like last week we were trying to get you on, and I was like, let's trust it.
Yeah.
Trust. There's that word again.
Yes.
Because this is exactly all y'all need to know to start your creative journeys. If you're just starting, if you're in the middle of it, if you've been doing it for 50 years, like, just grateful that we can have these conversations, because if this podcast was available to us when we were 12 years old, like this would be iconic.
Yes. man, own your own. Man, like shout out to LaRussell. I know y'all be saying
LaRussell's amazing.
You know it's just like people like him. He's seeing the future. It's just like it don't matter how lit you think he is and how much he's streaming.
Yep.
He sold 4,000 of his first project.
Yep.
That he put out on this particular platform called Even. He made $100K.
Dude, and I feel like
it was pay what you want.
Yeah.
It was offer based. So some people was paying him $200 for it.
And I feel like Ryan Leslie paved the way for that.
Yeah, right.
And then there was like
Superphone, and now then Community came out. It's just like, you gotta have you gotta get your people and have them, and not just be going through Netflix, because all of that damn near it might go away.
It might
in 5 minutes. You think I'm saying, like, for real, because it's like really happening right now. Where it's just like, do you have a direct connection with your people? It's just like, I was talking about this. This is a super hot take. The place we've already seen it and we need to be studying is porn.
Yes.
That sounds crazy. But
fans only.
You hear me? Because basically they went through this whole process already.
Yeah. It's like porn and then music and then Hollywood.
Exactly.
Film.
Porn is the quickest as far as the movement of business.
Yep.
Porn was, niggas was getting hella rich.
Yep.
Everybody had their little North Hollywood
Sex
mansion,
work.
bang bros, whatever the fuck. And then Pornhub was like, nigga, Netflix, Hulu streaming. I'm finna take all y'all shit that y'all got people paying $20 a DVD and put it in one place for free.
Ads.
Everybody broke.
Yep.
You dig what I'm saying? Like instantly everybody broke.
Done.
You dig what I'm saying? It's just like, accept the little ad revenue that's coming. It's just like shook up the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then specifically because, again, back to patriarchy, a lot of the women in those positions, they don't own Bang Bros. They're just the woman that's here and getting whatever they're paying. No residual, no what. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like, this is sucking for you.
Yep.
OnlyFans.
Literally.
Direct to consumer.
Yeah. Patreon.
They balling on you.
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah. I'm talking about these women on OnlyFans are balling right now.
Yes.
Because they understand it's like, oh, I just need all the people who was going to watch Pornhub to want me specifically. Then comes the psychology of, well, why would somebody pay for OnlyFans if they can get it free on porn? This, again, all of this, I know it's lewd because we're talking about pornography, but think about this from a business perspective.
Here it's a safe space, and we believe in sex work, and we support everybody. Yeah.
What's brilliant about it is what they understood is that, what this person wants more than anything, you know what's way better than whacking off to a porn is whacking off to a porn and she says your name.
Yes.
Oh boy.
And you know that it's like
exclusivity.
Yes,
so
it's a community.
We as artists, again, create direct personal relationships, signed vinyl, you dig what I'm saying? Because that's what people actually want. They want access.
Yeah.
Right. You dig what I'm saying?
They want a relationship.
They want a relationship. Yeah.
And you can't get that from Netflix yet.
You can't get it from Netflix.
If they're smart, they'll figure out how to do that and pay people properly. But we'll see. I mean, it's a long conversation, but it's really important.
Community.
No, it really is.
And keep that in mind to all y'all who have like a pottery company or like cookie bakery. Like, you can literally build these connections where people will not go a birthday without ordering your cookies.
You hear me?
Because like this is you become a part of their life. Yes. And that's what we want as creators too. That's what you probably want as creators, is like your tribe, your people to be around you and support you. And do we really need $1 billion? No.
I need $3 billion.
Of course you do.
No, we were talking about this, like, how much money do you really need?
Yeah.
You know, can you live your life making $3 million a year?
I think somebody did a study. Somebody did a study and they were like, when would you stop worrying about money? And I think the number was between $500,000 and $700,000 a year.
Yeah. And
most people feel that between $500,000 and $750,000, they're like,
and really,
I won't even think about it.
Here's another interesting point in that. Like, so let's get real clear back to what capitalism, the internet, all of this does. To be in the richest 1% of the country, you only need to earn $525,000 a year. That's the richest 1% of America.
Yeah,
it's $525,000. So you're saying that people will finally feel satisfied when they're richer than 99% of everybody else? Yeah. That's a ridiculous
That's
notion.
not okay. Yeah.
$200,000, I would say, as a person who has experienced that level in a year and realized that, I'm not really thinking about it. Now I can't ball out But it's just like,
But you're not
I'm
stressing.
straight.
Right.
I'm straight.
I'm gonna get another order of nachos.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get another order, and I don't even care what they cost. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
I'll pay it.
$200,000, I think, is the level of like comfort.
Well, and I think
You
that's
dig what I'm
also
saying?
it all
Very
depends
solid,
on where
yeah.
you're living.
Depends on where you are.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
I don't
that's
know.
like-
I was in Chicago.
LA
so LA,
is-
I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah, LA, 3 million.
Shut up.
no, I'm kidding. But it is. Look, it is. What I try to focus on in times when so many things are fucking turning upside down with industries and life and. We're talking. It's all. It feels like all the Eckhart stuff, like you're saying. It's like we needed the human ego as a human species to survive
100%.
up to this point. Now the only way forward is to dissolve the ego, and that's what
Evolve
kind
or
of.
die.
And that's kind of this rub that we're starting to feel right now.
Yes.
Everyone of the indigo children, the age of, everyone is starting to realize they have all these feelings all of a sudden. And it's just dissolving the ego that's going to allow us, maybe we don't need to create a company that's going to dominate the planet. Maybe, do you know what I mean? It's like those kind of things. And it's because it's hard because human ego is so fucking powerful. It can be really completely sensory overwhelming.
Yes.
But I do think I try to focus on that in the middle of all the change, like there is always these incredible opportunities.
Yes.
And there's always these incredible times for, maybe instead of all this, money growth, it's about, spiritual growth or whatever. What is the Carl Jung quote? He's like, dreamers go outside. Or no, when you go outside, you dream. When you go inside, you awaken.
It's cold. We need some of those bars for our next
You
song.
heard it here first. Me
We have
repeating
some
other
great
people's
bars in our
quotes.
next song. It's really amazing. And we're going to listen to some of your music without you. Sorry.
And to clarify-
You'll hear it soon. Yes, they'll hear it soon.
This will make sense later, but I do not have a foot fetish. Okay?
Oh.
Just saying.
Yes.
I don't actually have a foot fetish.
You didn't have to tell us
This
that.
will make sense.
We could have just lived our lives.
I totally don't.
We have some TikTok ideas for that part too.
Yes.
Anyway.
I'm excited to hear it.
Okay, well, if you didn't know, now you know it's Charity. And you need to follow Charity at Charity Croff on most every platform. You could just Google him. There's so much great content out there. Thank you for giving us your afternoon to be on this podcast and share your journey, which is so epic, and then all of the amazing things that you're working on. And feel free to go.
Your appetite to continue to learn, because I've learned a shitload from you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? It's cool. It's really it's cool. It's
you
just
need a
fucking
friend
rad.
like this in your life to push you and to continue to create with you too. That's like always.
And to support your local basketball team.
I hate you.
Oh my God, thanks.
I want to say I'm grateful for y'all. Y'all are two of my favorite people. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all, I feel like I am genuinely y'all friends, and I just work whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all are beautiful people, and I'm grateful for you.
No, you're stuck with us, unfortunately.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Or if let us know if you don't want to be.
Yeah.
I'm cool with being stuck.
Change your number if you don't. I'm kidding. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to another episode, and we will see you next week with some more shenanigans.
Holla at your koala.